Our guest speaker today is somebody who has really embodied these principles in every way, shape, and form. Um, I want to introduce you to Dr. Thandeka Ngcobo. She is a medical intern doctor at Mafeking Provincial Hospital, and she's planning to specialize in pediatrics in the future. She was in the top 200 2018 Mail and Guardian Young South Africans. She was in the top 100 SADC 2018 South Africans. She's an executive board member at the Godisang Youth Empowering Foundation, a corporate affairs officer at Ngcobo Empire. From a small village in KwaZulu-Natal, she wants to be a doctor from a young age. Ngcobo's mother is her courageous leader. And I love this quote that I found that she said, which I think is so key to this as well. Everything that you need for the journey ahead is in you, and only you have the potential to unlock it. Please welcome everyone and give Dr. Ngcobo an amazing welcome. Let's give her the welcome that she deserves. Hello, so lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello everybody. Hello, Val. Greetings to everyone. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much, ladies, for having me. It's such an honor and a privilege. I'm so excited. So don't mind the Colgate smile. It's just all out of excitement. And thank you so much to Boifusa as well. She's the first person I communicated with. So it's an honor once again to be here this afternoon. So just as well as introduce me, my name is Dr. Thandeka Ngcobo. I am a medical doctor by profession, and I'm 27 years old. I see Val has the last bio. I now work in a rural area called Rietvlei, where I'm serving as a medical officer. I was in Mafeking about 2 years ago, so it's okay. I've since relocated. I'm now closer to home, so I'm back in KZN. I'll try to be as short as possible and just not bore you with the long details, but I'm just gonna share with everyone just my journey, my story, and where I am now. So I was born in a rural village in the deep KZN, where I was born to a family of 8. I was the 7th born. My mom and dad, they've never worked well. Not as long as I can remember, they were not working. So I wasn't born into a rich family or anything. But as I grew up, looking at the surroundings in my community, I felt so strongly that I wanted to be a doctor. Why did I want to be a doctor? I saw a need in my community, first in the community and in my family. In the community, to access medical health care was such a struggle. One had to travel, take about 2 buses to get to see a doctor alone. When you get there, you find at the hospital there's a shortage of doctors. You have to wait like almost the whole day just to see a doctor. So that kind of encouraged me to say, you know what, I want to come into the medical field. I also want to make a difference. And I also want my community to be proud, just to say, Guti, from these dusty villages, we also produced a doctor. So by the time I was in grade 7, I knew I wanted to be a doctor. When I went into grade 8, on my 13th birthday, my niece passed away on my birthday. That also kind of pushed me towards my goal or my dream, because I felt like, was there anything that the doctors could have done to save her life, But as I carried on and went to the medical field, I realized, they probably did everything they could have done. So, yes, so I was one of the lucky ones who I discovered when I was younger, I wanted to be a doctor. When I was older, I still wanted to be a doctor, that was the passion that I had. But having coming from a rural community, I had very little knowledge of what I needed to do, to get into medical school. What would medical school be like? What was the journey going to be like? I had seen other doctors, and then I had thought, it was just a walk in the park. It was all easy as that. So when I went to high school, I had to leave my community and go into another township in Durban, where I was going to further my high school studies because I wanted to get a better education. Well, the truth is, the rural communities are still, left behind with in terms of the education system. So that's when 2006, I was in grade 8. 2010, which is the famous year when we hosted the football, the World Cup, I was in matric, and trust me, I didn't want to fail matric in 2010. You can always imagine what a painful reminder it would have been. So I worked really hard. Unfortunately for me, because of the choices we sometimes make as teenagers and lack of information and guidance, I found myself that I was pregnant. So this is where I am just about a few months into going to medical school. I had already applied. I'm about to write my final exams. Then I find out I'm pregnant. I'm like, okay, oh my gosh. So everything I dreamed of, everything I've worked hard for to get here, it now looks like it's coming to an end. But I had to go back, sit down with myself, have a discussion with Thandeka, have a self-introspection and say, Thandeka, you've worked hard so far all these years to get here. You've gathered all the information from your primary school years, from your high school, and now you're about to go into medical school. And then I find myself that I'm a teenager and I'm pregnant. What's going to happen from now on? Do I just give up and just succumb to the circumstances at this point and just forget about everything else, or do I have to rise above the situation? Having that conversation with myself, I then decided, you know what, I am not going to give up, at least not now. I felt so disappointed in myself. I knew I had disappointed my family. I was head girl at school, so I disappointed my teachers, all the other schoolmates who looked up to me. But I told myself, I must use this chance, or this is the opportunity for me to actually work so hard that all these people I had disappointed now, one day they will be proud of me. I will be proud of myself. Then that is the one thing I told myself. So I wrote my final exams in matric, and come 2011, I had passed. I got my 6 distinctions and I got accepted into medical school. I went to medical school. I'm already pregnant. That at some point during that transition from high school to medical school, I really did feel discouraged. I felt like I can't do this. But every time I had to go back to the drawing board to say, this is point A where I was. And now I'm in the middle of getting to the finishing point. So let me not lose focus. Even though maybe some children were pointing at me, oh, look at her, she's pregnant and she's at school, But I had to not lose focus, keep my eyes on the prize, keep my eyes on the bigger picture to say, look, when I was growing up, my background was against me. Like growing from a big family, everything seemed like it was against me. But I pushed, I came out from that situation, and now I'm here. I can't give up now. Like I had to encourage myself. I know it's very good to have people in the surroundings who also encourage you, but sometimes you get to a point where you look around and you feel like there's no one but yourself. And I think it's at that point where you really have to find your emotional strength, look deep inside you and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. Whether it's with tears in my eyes, whether I'm just, taking one step at a time, but don't lose focus. So that is what I did. And then luckily for me, the one person who was in my circle, who was a support structure, was my mom. And she agreed to look after my baby while I continued my studies. And I'll forever be grateful to her for that, And she's the one person who inspired me even from a younger age. And even at that point where it felt I disappointed her, but she was still there to support me. I had learned a lot from my mother growing up. You know, Val was just asking who are the people that we look up to, who inspired us. For me, it was my mom. Well, I grew up in such a time in a family where I didn't have a TV to see all these other celebrity people and everyone. But right next to me, I discovered there was a lady who gave herself, who gave the best to others, you know, just to make sure that our community was well taken care of. She was actually the Mother Teresa of our community. You know, I admired her strength. I admired the wisdom. Most of the time, my dad was never around while she raised us, but she managed to raise, you know, my brothers and sisters in a way that even when we are older, we are grateful for that. You know, I admired how she would, when they say it takes a village to raise a child, that like even the other children from the community, she would mother them. So for me, her compassionate spirit is something I felt that I would need in my journey as becoming a doctor, because I was going to work with different people from different socioeconomic states, from different backgrounds, from different, you know, family, all walks of life. So that is something that I got from her. So yes, she's the one person I looked up to. Medical school was not a walk in the park. Just like I mentioned earlier on, that, you know, sometimes we have a purpose or we have a dream, but we don't actually, no one comes back to us and tells us, you're gonna fail. You're going to lose friends. You're going to miss out on family gatherings because this is where you want to go. So for me, you know, part of my journey studying towards my dream was I lost friends. I don't want to lie, because medical school doesn't require you to be an A student necessarily. It just needed to be a hard worker and just stay focused. So when some of my friends on weekends said, no, we're going to the beach or for a picnic, I was like, guys, I need to study. I need to stay. Until they're like, no, Thandeka is boring. Thandeka is this and that. Thandeka thinks she's better than herself. Oh, well, if they think I'm better than I don't know, than everyone else, maybe there's just something right that I was doing. And because I felt that what I was doing at that time was necessary for me, I had to lose some of the friends. You know, there were family gatherings where I couldn't attend. But, you know, I don't regret any of that, because it helped me and it actually pushed me to work hard, because I did not want that we come after a weekend, now it's Monday, I'm so stressed because there's assignments I did not finish, there's a module I did not cover. So for me, I knew that it was part of the journey. It was part of what was going to propel me towards my goal. So remember what I said, keep your eyes on the bigger picture. Don't lose focus. You know, but if you have a plan with your life and you know I'm moving from point A to point Z, if along the way there's someone who says, no, forget about point Z, you know, let's go in a different direction. But you'll see that that is not going to take me to where I wanted to. So I need to ignore what comes from the sides and just focus on the dream. But then if I was that young person who did not have a plan about my life, then anyone could have came and said, oh no, let's take a different direction. And I was going to follow them. And somebody else comes and say, take a different direction. And I was going to follow them. At the end of the 6 years, I might have not completed my degree, you know. So I think that was the one important thing for me. I had a plan and I knew I had to stick to the plan, come rain, come sunshine. So, and what I learned, I think, from being a teenage mother in the pregnancy was that I know most of us say, oh no, it was a mistake, I didn't plan. Fine, some mistakes, even though you don't plan for them, but you're supposed to actually have an idea with the choice I'm making now and the actions I'm going to take. These are the results these are the results I'm going to get out of this, you know. So I had to deal with the results at that point. I had to face it and then say, I was the one who started this, who made this choice. I had a boyfriend, obviously, and then now that I was pregnant. Now these are the results of my actions. I can't blame anyone but myself. But then let me not have a pity party for myself. Let me strive towards excellence. So I think as I'm about to, towards the conclusion of my story, it's just to say, along the way, along the journey, there will be challenges, but you are the one first leader of yourself. And, when we talk about courageous leadership, for me, I looked and say, I had to be the leader of my life. I had to, find my mission. And just like in the quotes that Val read, where I said, I believe that everything that we need for the journey, we have it within ourselves. We just need to look inside and, discover your purpose, discover that mission. Because you might not have a person who's going to be there every day to tap you on the back, to push you. You need to be that person. You need to push yourself. So all the challenges, all the odds that I had to, go through, beats to overcome, from growing up, childhood, medical school, and until I qualified as a medical doctor, I realized that had it not been for believing in myself, had I not pushed myself, maybe I would have now looked back and then I would start blaming my mom, blame my friends. But in all honesty, the first person who makes the decision is Thandeka. I was the one who needed to push myself. So yeah, in a nutshell, that is my story. Currently, so I qualified in 2017 as a medical doctor, and I did my internship, I did my ComServe, I'm now a medical officer, I have a permanent post. But because I know that as we never stop learning, I'm still pursuing my studies, and I hope someday soon to specialize as a pediatrician, because I love children. Also, a bit outside of my medical career, because I am passionate about community work, uplifting others is something that I'm passionate about. So I don't have an NGO of my own, but then I decided, maybe because of the time when I was in medical school, I was still so busy and at work was busy, let me partner with already existing NGOs. So that is how I partnered with the Godisang Youth Empowering Foundation. It works across the provinces, where we target mainly the rural communities, where we provide information about career guidance, health education. We bring the much needed information to the youth where they can't have access to, so we bring it to them. So that is what I do when I'm not busy in the hospital giving injections. That is what I do. We help them a lot, especially when they need to apply, going into varsity, because most of the time you don't even know which form to fill in, to apply to get to which university. You don't know what are the requirements. So that is what we try to do as Godisang Youth Empowering Foundation. And my work at Ngcobo Empire, which is another NPO that I work with, that one is a multimedia Afrocentric company. I'm a corporate affairs officer there, so I just manage the image of the company, and just to make sure that everything, that we believe in, or our core standards, we maintain them. But all in all, I think the most important thing that I would like you girls and everyone else to take out from my life story is to know that it's possible. If you believe in yourself and don't lose focus, don't shift your eyes on the bigger picture, do not know where you're going, it is possible. If you do encounter stumbling blocks, don't let them discourage you, but use those to step on them and, reach up higher. And, just like Nelson Mandela says, he says, after climbing the first hill, that you realize that there's actually more to climb. Be ready for that. You'd find the woods, oh yes, I've overcome this, only to find the beauty it was just the beginning. There's still more that you still need to do. But don't let that discourage you. It is possible. As a female child, as a woman in Africa, in South Africa, you have the power. Even in sectors where maybe you are once told growing up, it's for male, it's a male-dominated section. But we have the power inside of us. And remember, sometimes you just have to be your number one cheerleader and just push yourself, and it's doable. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Val, you're on mute, huh?
I'm always telling other people to unmute. Thank you so much, Doctor. That was absolutely superb. I think you, as I said, you absolutely embody all of the principles that we're trying to cover in this session. I really appreciate that. Ladies, any questions? We have 15 minutes for questions. Any questions?
Val, can I?
Go ahead, Sephora.
The story that you shared is so inspirational, and there's so many aspects that I can relate to. But I just have two questions for you, please. So you said that you were in a household that had 8 siblings. Did any of your other siblings finish school?
Okay, they did. I'm the 7th born of the 8 children. Out of only one of the 6 who were ahead of me had gone to varsity. Fortunately, all of them did go to high school, but they ended at matric. Because of the situation at home, after matric, they had to go look for some piece jobs, you know, just to keep the family going. Only one of them had gone to varsity, and when I was in grade 11, that's when she graduated. So I know the sacrifices they had to make maybe for me to actually go to varsity, but I don't think they were maybe jealous of me or anything when I went to varsity. I think they were more actually excited that at least someone else actually goes to varsity and will get to graduate. Now the last born who comes after me, he's doing his honors degree as well. Wow. So yes, so I think I had to encourage him as well to, you know, look, let's do this for our family. So now I would say that there's 3 graduates at home. So my older sister, myself, and the one who comes after me.
Wow. Well done. Sorry, just one more question. Okay. The rural area that you come from, are there any plans that you have with any of the NGOs to actually better the schooling in the area?
Definitely, yes. Remember when I finished,
you know, infrastructure development.
Definitely, yes. And it was for the past 3 years. It was difficult because I was actually out of the province. Like Mafikeng is in Northwest. I come from KZN. So it was, although I had those plans and I wished that I could, you know, go back and give back to my community, it wasn't possible because I was in a total different province. Then last year when I came back, I came back to KZN, but not closer to my community, in another community. So, but yes, I do have plans to actually come now and give back to my community, because they look up to me, you know, they are proud that I came from that village and now I have achieved so much. So I want to show them that, look guys, it is possible. So yes, I am working on those plans to actually now go back to the work community where I came from, and just to encourage the youth from there, definitely.
Wonderful. We have a question from Charmaine in the chat box before I get to the main questions. She says, I have a question. Do you think your life would be different for the better or the worse had you completed matric first before being pregnant?
Okay. I think maybe not necessarily much. I would say that having becoming a teenage mother or falling pregnant when I was still in matric, it actually for me encouraged me to actually work harder. So, but I was always a hard worker, you know. So I don't think it would have been much different, except that now I wouldn't have, you know, being a mother, you automatically develop that other side of yourself where you have to care about someone else, then care about you. So maybe it taught me, being a mother at a young age actually taught me to have compassion more, and to actually, you know, when I engage with my patients who are teenage mothers, actually put myself in their shoes because I've been there, and be able to give better advices. I'm not saying if I wasn't a mother, I wouldn't give you know, maybe horrible advices, but I'm saying maybe it actually encouraged me, and it actually, you know, makes me, you know, talk about something that I know, talk from experience. And I feel that that actually helps, because when I tell them, would say, look, I was a mother as well, they actually get surprised, like, dog, no, it's not true. I sometimes had to show them pictures of my daughter. But I think, yeah, it wouldn't have much, I don't think there would have much of a big difference from where I am now. And that, but having been a mother at an early age, for me, actually pushed me to do more and do better.
Sikona, you have a question. Please unmute yourself.
Can you guys hear me?
You can.
Okay. Hi, Thandeka.
Hello.
So I wanted to ask, right? So you obviously you had a fallout at a very young age, right? And so my question is, the people that supported you, obviously you had people that supported you, right? So what do you think of them now, and where in the worldview do you put them, and how does that make you feel to say, I want to make the world a better place and everything? Like, how does that make you feel as a person in ensuring that you are trying to be a better person in everything? How do you ensure that at least you as yourself, you are trying to sympathize and make the world a better person? How has that perspective changed you?
Okay, for my biggest support structure came from my family, my mom. Unfortunately, I lost my mom in March this year, so she's no longer with us. But you know, I didn't. At some point, there was a point in my life where I felt like I owe my family, but then I again realized, you know, I don't really owe them, but I owe it to myself to be what they believe I was going to be, you know. So my family will always, you know, they'll always be the most important, you know, thing in my life. I know that wherever I go, I should never forget about home, my brothers, my sisters, whether I have a qualification and they don't, but you know, I should always know, don't forget where I come from, even my community. Like the first question that I got to what are the plans that I have for my community. So I think it has made me become more conscious of where I come from, of my background, to say I've made it out from such a family, from such a community. I could move and go live anywhere I wanted, but I think it has just kept me grounded and rooted to say, you know, let me bloom where I'm planted now, if you understand. You know, I don't necessarily need to change and go to a different environment for me to continue flourishing, but where I am, I can still, you know, show the people around me that it is possible, especially the people who supported me, and so that they don't feel that them supporting me was all in vain.
Nice. Thank you. Charmaine, you have a question?
Yes. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Can I ask Dr. Thandeka, what challenges have you had in the medical industry for the mere fact that you're a woman? Like, what challenges did you have? Because it's a male-dominated industry, and not a lot of women are in the industry and representing us as females, you know. So can I ask, how did you deal with the challenges? Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the question, Charmaine. You know, the funny thing, except being a doctor, a female, the fact that I'm a young doctor, you find other patients, especially the elder people, you would come there and they'll be like, "Hey, but this child is a doctor." And I'm like, Yes, so I've had circumstances where patients actually refuse to be treated by me because they feel like I'm just a little girl who's around the hospital, but they don't know what I'm doing, until they realize that I'm actually am the only doctor that's there, and if they need assistance, they will just need to trust me. So being a young doctor, that's a challenge on its own. Being a female doctor, especially I've worked in rural areas, the males around there, they still have that. I'm not going to show if they have, a problem with their reproductive system. I'm not going to show this little girl what's wrong with me. I'm not going to say what's wrong with me. I'm going to wait maybe for that old grandpa, with the stethoscope and a white coat. They are the one I'm going to tell my problem to. So you'd find that sometimes you literally have to, try and build that patient trust, build that relationship, maybe even harder than the ones who are older than us and who are males. And even when we work with some of our colleagues, unfortunately, I don't know why, there's always the ratio of female doctors to male doctors is like always very, it's always like 1:4 or 1:5. There's always like fewer female doctors. So even with them, we sometimes do encounter that they'll feel like that some procedures they will be able to do better than us. But I think what has helped me is not necessarily wanting to compete with them, but always doing my best and giving my best. And they will automatically see that, Dr. Thandeka is capable of this, and they will change, their perception about me without me having been arrogant or something, but it's just for me to keep believe in myself and just give my best in everything that I do. And, they ultimately see that she is capable of doing this. So yes, being a young female doctor, it's not, yes, Ngobile, it's true. Like, you let your work speak for yourself. That's what Ngobile is saying from the comment box. So you let your work speak for yourself. And I don't get discouraged, and I don't get angry at them or, always try to prove a point. I just work and do my work and, let my work